So in the fitness community, there's this growing trend. I'm not going to name names because I don't want to feed the animals, but there's this trend of saying, hey, rotational patterns is the way to go. Sagittal plane training, whatever that means, is devolving and it's not functional. So you have to train rotational on the load and you'll be like a unicorn and all the rainbows and everything will be all right in the world. In reality, what I'm trying to say is all that rotational training and patterns means nothing if there is a limited sense of the ground or grounding sense. And what I mean by grounding is a vertical compression straight down into the ground. And then as a result, the ground reacts and creates a force straight up into us. So our body, our nervous system uses that ground reaction forces for us to organize and process so that we could actually move through space and with gravity and the ground. So any limitation of that will be compensated for through excess tension in the body, somewhere in the form of hypertonicity, which creates pressure. And that pressure or tension and compression, or just pressure management, gives us a compensatory sense of stability or grounding. So what I want to show you is if you have that limited sense of the ground, it will be compensated for somewhere else in the body. Over time, what happens with chronic cases, the body starts to move in kind of a twisted rotational compensatory patterning, okay? So for example, this is a towel. If I have this towel flat like this and I pull it apart, okay, that's the degree of stability, okay? But if I twist a towel really hard like this and try to pull it apart, it'll be a lot stronger or more stable, okay? Now, that twisting is exactly what happens in the human body to create more stability. Meaning, if I have a limited sense of the ground, okay, here's a better example. If I put 50 pounds of pressure and I push down into the ground, and the ground usually reacts and puts 50 pounds of pressure back up that I need to sense so that I can organize based on that 50 pounds of pressure how to move. Now let's say, hypothetically, or commonly what happens, my brain thinks I put 50 pounds of pressure down. Ground puts up 50 pounds to react, but my body only senses 25 pounds. So the body makes up for that missing 25 pounds of pressure as far as tension somewhere in the body. It'll create pressure or tension in the form of hypertonicity somewhere, will create that missing sense of 25 pounds to give a total of that 50 pounds. So in reality, the brain thinks, oh yeah, I'm grounding 50 pounds. But in reality is what you feel is 50 pounds in grounding is really, in this case, 25 pounds. But you made up for that missing 25 somewhere else. Keep creating tension in the body, right? So going back to the example, then you have these people with their philosophy of saying rotational training is the way to go and that's the future and it'll solve all your ailments. But here's the thing, and I've seen this many times. A lot of them, good intention, but they misunderstand the key point of a limited grounding sense. And you keep on reinforcing these rotational patterns. What you're gonna do is you're gonna get more of this, okay? And then what happens is the good intention actually results more chronic pain, right? So they won't tell you these things because on the internet, on social media, we only tell you what we want you to hear. God forbid people hear anything negative or anything that doesn't really reinforce what we're trying to sell you, okay? Of course, they're not gonna tell you the bad stuff. Insecurities. But anyway, what it comes down to is the importance of understanding what grounding is. Understanding vertical compression into the ground, ground reaction forces up into the body takes that information and helps us organize how to move more safely, more freely.